5 prophets, except for one. I haven't heard of any of these. There are so many more prophecies out there and predictions that speak of this very time that we're in, this critical time. And I'm going to start sharing them with you because the message over and over again is that we're fully in control, but don't believe it? Well, I'm going to share those predictions with you. And today, this is part 2 of the predictions of 5 really amazing prophets. And today, we're going to talk about what they disagreed on and also something I'm fascinated with, and that is who's visiting us? What were we before this? And are those people aliens, other forms from another planet? Are they something else? Is the veil thinning and that's why we're seeing them? I'm going to answer those questions today because guess what? 2026, most of it's going to be revealed and continue to be. It's going to shock the heck out of us, but in a good way. You ready for this? Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. Well, I'm just going to name them right now. Of course, we know Edgar Cayce, but that's not who I'm going to quote today. I'm quoting Ilmayer, Black Elk, Yuktesvar, Malachi. Yeah, and of course, Baba Vanga is in the mix there. But have you heard of these prophets? These are ancient prophets that have said consistently the same things over and over again in different ways. Now, let me just share with you, if you've been on my channel a while, you know that people come here because they are empowered. They step away from the crazy programming and distraction media out there that tries to keep us in this negative, fearful space. And you're not going to find that here. But we do have to look at what's going on out there. And the predictions consistently say one thing: you are totally in control of it. And that it is here at this point because we created it, because we were under a veil thinking that we had no control. And those that have been in power that love the material world want to control the material world. So what do? They put fear in us. Yeah, so that's been going on. And guess what? We're just not falling for it anymore. So I'm going to share the predictions of these 5 amazing prophets, but what they disagreed on. Then we're going to talk about who really developed us? Who are we really? And what are we seeing out there? Orbs, craft, things that morph into other beings, some crazy stuff out there coming from prophets and what they believe is going to happen. Because guess what? We're not alone in this universe. So welcome to breaking through fear, because fear is an illusion. And when you realize it, you can deal with it. These patterns that are within each one of us have been programmed by those who want to control the material world. And as long as we're in the fields working and they're up in the castle, everything is fine. That's changing, my friend. But you can be a part of that new world that is beautiful, abundant, healthy, yeah, wealthy, joyful. So we're going to talk about where these visionaries disagree. Now, I suggest you go watch the first video. I went through the 5 predictions, all 5 of them, what was going to happen in the progression of when that would happen. As one of them predicted certain popes would come in power, and we're actually on that final prediction. So we are at a time period, even though they didn't name times, years or anything, we're in a time period where all those things are coming true. So we know we're in it right now. So let's talk about where these 5 prophets don't agree, because I think this is the most liberating part of the whole conversation. On timing, let's talk about that. None of them provide a clearly verifiable timeline, because what I just said, and this is why prophecy remains so controversial. Oh, it didn't happen. And the truth is, it was either diverted, a different choice was made, or maybe it's going to happen down the road. So don't ever discount when somebody does predict something, because all realities are true. Everyone exists. So this is why prophecies remain so controversial, because nothing's in stone. You can change it. And I've said that before, and I mean it, because Edgar Cayce's dates shifted. Nostradamus' dates are debated endlessly. Baba Vanga's timelines almost entirely reconstructed by interpreters after the fact. She never gave timelines, but she did see things. I'm going to share one of them with you later on in the video. We're going to talk about this, and that is the appearance of alien craft. What's alien? Well, we'll describe that later on, cause they each emphasize something different. So Erlenmeyer says conflict drives the change. Black Elk says spiritual imbalance drives it. Yukesvar says, I'm probably really messing that up, says cosmic cycles drive it. So, in other words, it's all energy. It's all energy contributing. Malachi says institutional completion drives it. And Baba Vanga, her attributed predictions vary so widely by source that almost any cause fits it. So, on severity, Yukesvar is the most optimistic by far. His framework suggests a gradual evolution more than a dramatic upheaval. Irmail is the most dramatic. The others fall somewhere in between. So some of them say that there's some cataclysmic event. Edgar Cayce also said this, but Edgar Cayce at the same time said mind is the builder and mind can change everything, and that these cataclysmic events are directly tied to our frequency. So when we're in turmoil, anger, and separation and judgment, you will see things happening out there that are extremely violent. It's in alignment with the reality that we're creating through our thoughts and beliefs. Does this make sense? So in a beautiful, perfect world up in the penthouse, none of that happens. We're not in alignment with violence and cataclysmic events. We're in peace. And so, therefore, the reality that we live in there is in alignment with that. And that would be we wouldn't have all these crazy things going on. So far, things have not been as extreme as predicted. I believe that's a sign that we're going into something higher. Again, I want you to understand, I'm going to say this over and over again, your personal reality is a choice for you. We could go to hell in a handbasket and you could still live out the most beautiful, beautiful time in your life, knowing that you achieved something perfect and that regardless of what the other choices are, you still will go into peace, abundance, health, joy, helping others, and knowing that you have purpose in this time. Are you feeling like you don't have purpose? Stick with me. You have a lot of work to do. You are very important. The others, of course, everybody's falling into different things. Dolores Cannon said it would be gradual, and it started somewhere in, I think, 2012. So here's what I want you to take from this. The fact that they disagree on timing, cause, and severity, it's not a flaw in the prophecy. It's actually confirmation of something we know from quantum science. Now, we talked about Chris Bledsoe in the last video. What's the problem? He was being pushed, NASA and all these scientists, to give a date on when this big event was going to happen and a new knowledge, divine feminine, would come in to play. He never had a date originally. He was pushed by humans. Give us a date. It's impossible. All right. So this is why this is flawed. It will change. Now, Chris Bledsoe, and we're going to follow him in the next few months, says that October of 2026 is when this big event's going to happen. But the truth is, we do not know, neither does he. And that is not something that this lady, this golden lady that he gets information from that visits him. If you don't know who he is, watch my videos. We're going to go into it more. She comes and gives him information every year, supposedly. And guess what? She never gave dates. Those specifics are not fixed. The trajectory is. So the broad sequence: crisis, choice, transformation, higher awareness. That's what we're here for. That is set in stone as the game. Okay? When I say set in stone, it's we chose it and created it. All right. So it wasn't like it was here and you're some prisoner, prison planet that I've heard. No, we said, here's the game. I'm choosing Pac-Man instead of Donkey Kong. Sort of aged myself there. So that pattern shows up across 5 sources. It also shows up in Edgar Cayce, Dolores Cannon, in the Book of Revelation, in dozens of indigenous prophecies, and in modern consciousness teachings. The endpoint is agreed upon. The path to get there is still being written. It's not in stone. The game is lined up, but of course the game changes too. But the final outcome is for us to evolve, to learn, to understand what we are, to experience. And everybody's is going to be completely different, okay? And guess what? You're writing part of it right now. What do you do with this? So let's bring it all home. When you look at these 5 visionaries together, when you strip away the specific imagery, the cultural language, the historic context, what you get is this: humanity is undergoing a profound transition. We know that. We keep hearing that. But a lot of people are looking for some answer to find out what's going to happen. Tell me what's going to happen. Forget all this nicey nice stuff. Landria, tell me what's going to happen to us. I'm going to tell you. I don't know. You tell me. Because my final story, my final chapter may not be the same as yours. And there will be those who are reading my final chapter and others reading yours. And you may not believe that. And so if you believe you don't hold that power, then you will create the reality where you do not hold power. And this is quantum physics. I'm not talking about woo-woo here. I'm talking about quantum physics. This is based on attention creates. You've heard me talk about Federico Fagin. I talked about him in several videos. He created the microprocessor, a brilliant man, went into an awakened state and realized, oh my God, we are not a material thing. We're so much greater and we are creating it. It is all creative, everything, a stone, this space here. It's all intelligent and you and it are one. And as soon as you get out of this negative thinking, catch it. It's probably going all the time criticizing that's this and that they're this and you're creating that world, that negative world, and you start to feel bad and you go into fear. There's no destruction, there's transformation. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It does not get destroyed. It is never destroyed. It transforms. Now, if you're going to transform, what do you want to transform into? I don't know about you. I want to transform into that space where we don't have to struggle with all this stuff anymore. How do you earn it? You have to be up in the penthouse to get there, right? You can't be in the basement. And I just said to one of my students, those of you who want to join our private membership, come on over, man. We're meeting every Sunday. We're having great conversations. And I said, you can't want something and tell the penthouse, join me in the basement. Come down. I desire this. The penthouse can't get to the basement. You have to go to the penthouse if you want to live in the penthouse. It's just that simple. Where are you living right now? Where's the mind? What are the thoughts you have? So here's what I'm going to ask you to do because this is practical. This is real. First, stop feeding the fear narrative. When you see the chaos in the world, you do not have to absorb it into your frequency. Avoid it. Most of it is a lie. All of it is meant, all fear messages are meant to guide you into a lower frequency, all of it. If it's not fear, then it would have a message of reality of what's really going on and how we can transform it that would pull you out of the fear. You can witness it and choose what you want to render into reality. That's not denial, that's creation. What does rendering mean? Everything exists all at once. Rendering means I'm choosing this. You go into the store and you go down an aisle, you choose this. It's already there. The store's there and everything's on the shelf. Everything's already there. You're just choosing it. And by the way, you have to check out. You can't just keep choosing it and not do anything with it. You have to check out. Take it with you and create that. You have to stop being negative. Stop criticizing people. Stop blaming your parents. I'm so tired of that. This was meant to be. It was meant for you. It's a teaching pathway to enlightenment that if you don't recognize, you've missed out on it. But you want to blame them. It's them. How do I love this person? I don't know. That's your challenge. All right. How do you get past struggling in a relationship? How do you get past struggling with money? You have to completely shift how you think about it in your relationship with the world and you and what you've been programmed. It's programming. So we've got to rewire that. And it's not an easy job, but it takes practice every day. And if you start to do that, everything in your life will change because you have the choice of never struggling again. All right. You can experience some things as a human. Yes, emotions. They're beautiful. We don't get emotions like that on the other side. Everything's so perfect. It's contrast. It allows you to know what it's like to be sad, what it's like to lose somebody, what it's like to enjoy health when you haven't had it. Enjoy this ride, my friend. Later on, you'll realize how incredibly valuable it was. So second, look for the pattern. Every time you see something breaking down, an institution, a system, a belief you used to hold, ask yourself, what's being made room for? Okay, what's being made room for? Because that's what these visionaries were actually describing, not the fall. What comes after the fall? What is being opened up for us to fill with something different. Third, hold the unified vision. Black Elk's sacred hoop, Yugasvar's higher age, Baba Vanga's transformed humanity. You carry that vision in you every time you choose love over fear. You're choosing the new world. I'm choosing compassion. I'm choosing love. I'm choosing non-judgment. I'm choosing unity. I'm choosing to help somebody instead of oppose them. I'm choosing to understand somebody else instead of arguing with them because I think I'm right. All right? You are now hearing that vision, becoming that new vision. It cannot be any other way. You will stay in the 3D world and continue to suffer if you go into opposition. The new world has no opposition. It's cooperation over separation, faith over despair. You have to change it by seeing the change, by being the change, by knowing that reality is now in your midst. That reality, it's now. And that external world will catch up to it. So you say, well, I think I know it, and this is still going on. It'll catch up, but you cannot get off of it. You've got to stay in that faith. You know this exists. A beautiful world exists where we help one another, where we turn around everything. Yes, we've done damage. It's out there. Now we get to turn it around. All right, so get ready to do that. Start doing it now. Can you do that? Of course you can. Now there's been debate for centuries about whether prophecy is warning or destiny. I think it's neither. I think it's an invitation to show up for the most important moment in human evolution. And you're here watching this. And that tells me everything I need to know about you. Congratulations. So let me close with this on the 5 visionaries before we move on to what we are, because then there's another video on Friday I'm going to do that focuses just on what's going on out there. 5 visionaries, 5 centuries, 5 cultural traditions, 1 shared message. The current age is completing. This is a final cycle. It will go into something beautiful, 1,000 years of peace. But before that happens, great transformation has to take place. Be okay with it. It's getting us out of the craziness we've been in. It's not comfortable. You might think, oh, I'm fine with it. Just as long as I can pay my bills and watch my TV and eat my whatever. Can't happen anymore, my friend. Technology is accelerating the shift. An awakening follows the turmoil, and a more unified humanity is on the other side. The how and the when, nothing's in stone, but the direction, they all agreed. And so do I. If this video gave you something, a framework, a sense of peace, a new way of seeing what's happening around you, please share it with someone who needs it right now, who has to know that this is all about us choosing the new world. All of it's about our choice. All of it's about our choice. So let's talk about what has been said about other beings. Now, we're going to go deep into this on Friday. Now, if you know Greg Braden has talked a lot about this and shown that on every wall, in every part of the world, in every era, there are drawings of ET visitations. They didn't always look the same, but they definitely flew in craft. It's in pictures, it's in paintings, it's on caves. What part of that is fearful for you? Any of it? If it is, it's because we've been told, once again, by those who want to control us, because if we're in fear, then they're our protectors, and then we can give them $1 trillion to have more weapons to take them out, which, by the way, is ridiculous because they're so way more advanced than us. And by the way, we know that it's not to take out some aliens. They're here. They've been here. They've always been here. And we have evolved from some form of them. I think we're going to find out some things about exactly who and what that was. And I don't think it's one species. I think it's many who have visited here with different agendas. And I don't think any of it's evil. Maybe not all so happy, but and maybe some of it was self-serving, but hello, we're talking about humans here also. We are the lowest of the low, and it's time for us to rise above with our powers. Yes, and join the rest of the universe as just like a collective working together, because we do live on one of the most beautiful planets in the universe, but we're destroying it. There are those who will absolutely not allow that. Why? Because it affects them. Now, something that I have heard, and this is what we'll go into more on Friday, is that abductees, supposedly people that have been on craft, how many of those stories we can believe, I don't know, but I'm not going to tell them that they didn't have these experiences. I don't know, but I do believe this is going on. Now, we do pick up whales and turtles and all kinds of animals, and we grab them out of their environment. We study them. We take blood. We do all these horrible things to them. We tag them and we put them back in, don't we? That's no different. It's no different. Why do we do that? We want to track them. We want to help their species, hopefully save them, or find out what's going on with them if things aren't going well. This is no different. Now, some have said that they were told that some of these beings were our future humans coming back to make sure that we don't do the same stupid thing again, and also to preserve our ability to procreate, things that they have lost because they allowed technology and some other decisions to override them. It's not so far-fetched. Others have said that there are beings from other planets that have destroyed their planets and looking for resources again in the way of creating new beings to continue their planet from going under. That doesn't sound so bad either. So I'm going to do some research on all of this because I find it fascinating. I'm totally open to all this. There are plasmic globes that fly around that astronauts have seen and have seen on every mission and told not to speak about it. Why? I'm not exactly sure why the government feels that we can't hear about these things, but they have made it so fearful now that, yes, if they disclose things, the majority of humans think that aliens are evil. Who did that? Not an alien. Did you ever meet one? Were they nasty to you? No? No, it was what we heard from other humans. Pretty much that's the case. And I'm not saying that they don't have their own range of good and evil. It's all part of the game. But I assure you something right now. They are not interfering with our free will. And they are going to stop us from destroying ourselves. I feel very confident. I'm going to give you a couple stories about how that has actually happened when the button was pushed, not once, but twice, and didn't fire. What was that? Yeah. So we do have some overseers here. In what form? We'll discuss that. So what are we? I think this is the year we're going to find out more and more. And I think that divine feminine is part of that equation. It's going to come into play that we are truly that which is peaceful and loving, yes, nurturing, and that more of that's going to come into play. And the higher frequencies do connect with that more feminine divine behavior, thought patterns. No, it doesn't make you some neutral person. It has nothing to do with your male or female makeup. It has to do with your frequency and how you think of the world and beyond. So let's explore that on Friday. What do you think our origins are? Yeah. So I had a video recently, if you haven't seen it, there was an Edgar Cayce video, and he went into the whole story of what we are and that we were actually beings of light that came here to explore a material world that eventually got too entrenched in it and then separated from one beautiful entity into two, the male and female, which created more imbalance. That sounds not too far-fetched, is it? We're going to explore that and more. So, what the five prophets disagreed on, it's just the severity of how things are going to play out. What does that mean? Doesn't mean they're right or wrong. It means that we get to choose. It can be an easy ride. It can be a tough one. Are you going to battle it? Are you going to participate in the argument or the solution? It's really that simple. Now, I just got my delivery. Let me show you this. There's no plastic in anything here. These are little pellets that you chew and you brush your teeth. They're non-toxic, and also they don't pollute the planet. And you, if you're using toothpaste in tubes, it's poisonous to your body. Yeah, they don't care. Isn't this great? It whitens your teeth And also, it's much cheaper, and you can carry these little pellets. They give you a little glass container. You keep refilling. Start making higher choices. If you're interested, I have a discount for you in the description with some other discounts on things that you can start purchasing. And you have to live the life of a peaceful world that doesn't screw up our planet. Remember, the packaging on the products that you purchase is very important. Use your own bags. Go into stores that don't have plastic packaging, or if they do, choose the things that aren't packaged. I know it's not easy. Just make the best, highest choice that you can, and sometimes it means saying no. Are you ready to live that new world? And by the way, you're thinking it's no big deal. It's huge because everything in the universe, everything is so super sensitive to every decision you make. And when you make a negative one that's self-serving because it was inconvenient, you actually shift into the rendering of that world, and you will have the cause and effect consequences of those decisions. Negative, negative. All right. It's not judging you. It just is. And you're doing it. You think something's punishing me? No. Think about what you've done up to that point that has caused certain things to show up in your life. It's really that simple. So, are you ready? Let's explore some really cool stuff that's going to be revealed. By the way, no, I don't give a hoot about the government disclosure. Show me something we don't already know. And of course, it's your version of these things. Hey, let's explore the real deal ourselves and talk to each other, create community. Come join me in my private membership. And of course, all of you know that I have a book out that it was a download, not a channeled event. It was a download, it was information that I stepped aside and just got some beautiful just inspiration. And it was basically to guide you through this time period. So you can get that here. It's down in the description also. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Now, I want you to remember everything you're subscribed to is an algorithm that tells the internet what you like. So if you're subscribed to anything that's negative or controversial, you are telling the entire internet and AI that you like negative, controversial, fear-based things. We have to make different choices there too. Every time you turn on your television, yes, they do know what you're watching. All right? Got to make better choices. Hey, listen, I used to love murder mysteries, the real thing. I had to stop watching them. I still think they're fascinating, but I can't watch them anymore. That's not the world I want to live in. The world I live in, nobody does that. So you have to make higher choices. Watch the baking channel like I do. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I'll see you on Friday, and we're going to explore some really cool stuff out there. Namaste.